Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Hilltop Pillbox in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. And I have been away, I have been sick, I have been slammed at work. Just my time has not been great. So I apologize for not having posted something sooner. I was actually out doing some training, and I've had just a whole bunch of stuff going on. I know we're all busy. Not an excuse, but maybe clarify a little bit for you if you've been wondering where I've been for the past couple of weeks. Doing a little play testing today for Historical Board Gaming, their Meltdown 2025 game. I play tested their 2025 game about a year and a half ago, I guess it was, and they're keeping that one definitely, but they're also working on this one here. Now this is a smaller game. They're hoping to have this to be able to be played in 2 to 3 hours, and I'm just going to go and scan along here, and you can see some of the great units. I really love a lot of these sculpts. They're just amazing. I like these massive aircraft carriers, the LHDs, the landing helicopter docks here with the helicopters. They can also carry one fighter instead of a helicopter, and then they can carry 2 land units. So those are our transports in the game then. And then we've got attack submarines. That's a ballistic sculpt. I didn't have the attack ones, but here's the attack submarines here. There's some Russians there. We got frigates. See the blue frigate here. And they've got the tokens here for the ballistic subs right now, but I believe these are the sculpts. This bad boy right here is the sculpt for the ballistic. Just gorgeous stuff going on here. The infantry are great. Love the infantry. Let's turn it around a little bit here. And they look great. And the tanks, now that is a tank. Just a big hunk of steel there, and although I'm sure it's made with something besides steel nowadays, who knows. And a few neutrals, but the map is a lot less busy than many other games that you may have played of this version, or of this genre, the war games. And so you can see that although there are fewer units on the board, we do have stuff off the board. Now again, I'm play testing, and hope they don't get mad at me for this, because I'm just going to show you my little paper cutouts. But essentially, you get to stack up your different high-tech gadgets over here. So we've got the Islamic Caliphate here, and they have their cruise missiles, gravity bombs, nuclear cruise missiles, and you know, everybody has these sorts of things, and some of them have various iterations of nuclear missiles. Sometimes they are right in the home country, like China here has 4 of the ICBMs right in their country, but many of them are also off the map, and so are not right out on the board. They do have some blow-up boxes here, which harken back to the days of the original Axis and Allies, but Historical Board Gaming here knows that Korea is going to get fought over like crazy, and the island of Taiwan needs a special nod, and of course Israel. Obviously a very small sliver of land over here in the Middle East. We'll just head over here and you can't barely even see it. Alright, but as we zoom in, we can see it's there. Alright, so I love the blow-up boxes because they allow for a whole mess of action to happen where action probably would happen. And it's kind of funny how the hot spots in today's world tend to be small and very, very intense, as opposed to the you know, World War II, World War I, where you've got the front that's stretched for thousands of miles. So yeah, so the way this is split up is you have the United States, which includes Canada and all the rest, and the European Union, and the Pacific Coalition. The Pacific Coalition includes South Africa here, and India, and Japan, and Australia, New Zealand. Okay, and that also includes South Korea and Taiwan. Those are all the yellow. So those are the one side. We'll call them the West, even though of course they span the globe. And then the East, we have of course Russia, the big bear remains, and China, and then the Islamic Caliphate. All right. Now there are some very interesting rule sets and things to go on in this game, which I'll be explaining later. One of the big things though is that the Russians and the Chinese are allies, but mostly out of necessity rather than they really agree with each other. In fact, they cannot share a land zone. So it's pretty interesting. They obviously are on the same team, but they can't load up. You know, if they're getting some pressure from India, you know, Russia can't come down and save China. China's on her own, and yeah. So China is a little bit kind of out by herself here, but she has a decent amount of income, and it's hard to get at her income, and that's probably why she's going to last all right. America, of course, really overpowering in the naval and air power, but very few ground troops. Okay? And the Islamic Caliphate, not much high-tech stuff, but they get to do some pretty neat things. Again, I'll be going over that when I do a rules thing later on. I won't be doing that on this video. This is just a quick channel update and let you see what's going on. As you can see, America does have a whole bunch of cruise missiles and whatnot to fire, and they're not devastating. They're not going to clear out a whole zone or anything. Nuclear weapons may, and also reduce or eliminate the ability to produce units and to produce income. And as you can see, they've got some nice little mushroom clouds there. Kablamo. Alright. But the neat thing about this game, folks, is that, you know, if you find that some of these big games you have trouble getting people to sit down for 6, 8, 10, 12 hours, this is going to be a quick game. I suspect probably 5 turns, I think. So like Risk 2210 or Risk Godstorm, things like that. I think it'll be pretty apparent who's going to win after that amount of time. This is not meant to be a long slugfest. You could play you know, a couple of these games in a day easily. So it'd be a lot of fun to, you know, play one side and then flip the table and see if you can play the other as effectively. I would love to say that I'm going to have a whole bunch of gameplay video up soon. See what happens. Pretty slammed for time though, and I don't see any you know, break coming up anytime real soon. Spring break is coming up, but that's already been taken up by a lot of stuff as well. So hopefully we'll be able to get some footage up there. But once again, this is Global Meltdown 2025, Global War Meltdown 2025 from Historical Board Gaming. This is in the they call it the planning phase, but we're in the development now. We're play testing, and man, it looks like a lot of fun. I love the sculpts. I love the fact that you got these monster carriers that can hold a couple of fighters if you need them to, and they're not going to come sliding off. Lots and lots and lots of room. So for those of you who are, maybe I didn't zoom in closely enough, those are drones, those little square tokens. And then you also have special forces, and they're all over the place. Of course, Americans have theirs. Okay, and you know, everybody has special forces that can go on clandestine missions, and they move before the rest of the combat units move, so they can get in there and soften things up. Also, of note is these ballistic submarines. As you place them on the setup charts, it says you can place them wherever you want. And then I think the Pacific Coalition has a slight, they have to put it within 3 of mainland India. So their ballistic sub couldn't go anywhere. But the neat thing is that the Russians and the Chinese get to place theirs after the West places all of theirs, so they can place them in response. So that's just a little uptick there for the Russians and the Chinese. All right, well, we will give this a whirl here and slug through, see what we can get done. But everybody take care, and you know, hey, spring's here. I don't know where you may live. Maybe fall has just arrived. but it's really nice outside these days, and everybody's starting to enjoy the more of the sunshine that's coming around here in the Lower Mainland. The days are getting longer, and hey, just get out there, enjoy life, hug your loved ones, and may the dice be with you.